Welcome back to TYT Sports and Rotowire, joined with Chris Liss. If you don't know Chris Liss already, you should. You can go to rotowire.com, check out his podcast, check out his columns. He handicaps each week, and he's been doing very well over the last 2 weeks. Chris, 6-2 in the last 2 weeks?
6-2, yeah.
All right, well, let's recap last week with another
After a terrible season, I'm starting to turn it around. I hope it's too little too late. But
I'm not even going to go into how deep into the pit of despair I am in a pick'em league, but we're making our way out of it slowly with 2-3 weeks of NFL remaining. Chris, last week 3-1. Let's take a look at how you did.
Here we go. So I was wrong on the Thursday night game. The Vikings really showed up. Should have won that game actually, but for the 3 turnovers. But Cardinals were never close to covering. That was a mistake. That was wrong. Panthers at Falcons. We talked about this last week. Why does the book keep giving the Falcons respect? I actually posted this on Twitter, and a guy, I think his name is Rob Pizziola, but he says he goes under the Twitter handle Rob Pizza. I don't even know if that's his real name. But regardless of whether that's his real name, he told me that the yards per play stat is pretty decent for the Falcons, and so Vegas takes that seriously. Wow. But in this case, it is not a reliable indicator of their performance. They are a doormat. They should have gotten double digits. They lost 38-0. That was easy. And then the Browns-Niners, I really liked the Browns at home going against a weak team with Johnny Manziel back, so I got that one. And the last one was Green Bay, right? I can't see it anymore, but yeah, Green Bay. You know, Dallas coming off that big win, division win on Monday night, going into Green Bay. Right. Mike McCarthy taking over the plays was stupid. He did a terrible job. The announcers were praising him because they were beating a terrible Dallas team. Yeah. But even so, that was just a terrible matchup for Dallas.
Yeah, there was 2 things. One, you mentioned on last week's show, Mike Pettin might be the worst coach in the NFL, and but he got you some wins this week.
Yeah,
he got you a win this week, so it makes him at least a little higher in your book, I hope, for going next week. And 2, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I don't know if Mike McCarthy is a good football coach.
Oh, he's terrible.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is just that good of a quarterback.
Yes, absolutely.
And you see what he's done this year with the Packers, and there's obviously some problems in Green Bay, but when we get to playoff time, you can never really count out Green Bay, especially in Lambeau, if they get any games.
Mike McCarthy is one of the underrated terrible coaches in the league. He really is.
I didn't know you could be an underrated terrible.
Well, he's underrated as how terrible he is. Like normally people think of the Jim Caldwells and and the Joe Philbins.
Because they make it really easy for us when you talk about the Jim Caldwells and the Mike Pettins with the decisions they make on the field. And
so does Mike McCarthy. It's just that he's got Aaron Rodgers, so they're 9-4 right now. They're 12-4 every year. Right. So it doesn't look as bad, but he's terrible. He gifted the Seahawks a trip to the Super Bowl.
That's true. That's true.
And he's disciplining Eddie Lacy. We're going to discipline Eddie Lacy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Chris, your 4 picks for this week.
Yeah, I'm not touching the Thursday game. I just don't like these teams. I'm not messing with it. But the Saturday night game is the Jets. Producer Dan Keston, he's a Jets fan. They're actually doing well this year. The Giants should have beat them, but we won't go into that. They're laying 3 at Dallas, and I have to say Dallas has very little home field advantage in that mall park they built. And I think the Jets they're just a much better team than Dallas without Romo, and I think they're going to roll. So I'm laying 3. I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yeah, actually, I checked mark 2, and that was one of them. And I like the Jets this week. I don't think I've ever bet on the Jets in my life.
Yeah, no, I mean it should be illegal for a Giants fan to bet on the Jets, but you got to do it here. I think the line is too good.
That's true.
I'm also going to take the Giants. Carolina had faded them early in the year. I had faded them earlier in the year, and that was a mistake. And I started losing. And then I got with the program. I started backing them the last couple of weeks, and they covered. And actually, no, I backed the Saints against them, who covered against them 2 weeks ago, which was also right. But I believe in Carolina. I think they're legit. But the Giants play to the level of competition. They should have beat the Patriots. Had Coughlin not botched the end game. The only thing that's bad is the one good guy in the Giants is Odell Beckham, and he's covered by the Defensive Player of the Year.
So we'll see what happens. Will we need a bigger performance from Ruben Randall, and Dwayne Harris has been all right in filling in.
It's hard to count on those guys, but I just think the Giants are going to show up for this. I'm taking the points.
So you being the only Giants fan in L.A. that I know, I can talk about this. Should we just abandon the run completely and throw 65, 70 times a game?
Okay, I just want to say something about the Monday night game. It was a contest of who could possibly be stupider. Eli Manning was averaging 10.9 yards per passing attempt. He completed 27 of 31 passes, and yet they ran the ball 29 times at 3.3 yards per carry.
Which was the opposite.
And had a fumble, okay? And had a turnover on it. Now, the Dolphins had Lamar Miller had 7.7 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns on 11 carries, and they threw the ball 42 times.
And you saw the 38-yard touchdown in which that guy's got second gear.
He's 4.4. He runs a 4.4 as a running back.
You just don't see it enough, at least in that offense.
So they had an excellent running back, destroying a bad run defense, having a great game, and they threw the ball 42 times. Yeah. Why? Why did the Giants run it? Why did the Dolphins throw it? We don't know. These teams are beyond.
I'd be fine if Eli threw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions every game if it meant we're throwing the ball 70 times a game.
Well, what you do is you don't break out your piece of shit running game until they put 7 DBs in the
I
game.
don't think we have a running game. I think just our piece
Actually,
of shit
Rashad Jennings is actually pretty good.
backfield.
He's pretty good, but he's
Right.
still only got 3.3 yards a carry.
I really like Shane Vereen, just not when we hand the ball to him.
Well, the whole thing is you throw until they put 7 DBs in there and they make you run, and then you run. You take 5 yards a carry. But you don't, when they're in their regular front, you don't run. Anyway,
Fair enough. So you're taking the Giants.
I'm taking the
-5.
Giants,
At least
getting
it's
5
easier. At
at
least we
home.
get points, which is
Yeah,
nice.
we're getting 5 at home.
All right, so pick number 3 and 4.
Okay, I really like Oakland hosting Green Bay. Last week I liked Green Bay at Dallas, but look at Green Bay's wins. They were up 14-7 in the fourth quarter against a shitty Dallas team. Okay, they are not on all cylinders on offense. They can run. You know, Eddie Lacy looks great, but the passing game is still not back. The defense is decent, not great. And Oakland is a scrappy team. Oakland had got negative 12 yards in the first half last week against the Denver defense and came out and didn't give a shit in Denver and beat them.
Yeah.
Okay. How many teams, when they get destroyed like that in the first half,
This
just
was the
fold?
15-12 game.
Yes.
The most exciting game of the week.
They just fold, most teams.
Yes,
And this team came back against the best defense in the NFL and beat them in their own building, okay? So I do not think this is a soft team. I was dissing the Raiders earlier in the year. You Raider fans that give me shit in the comments. You were right. I was wrong. Derek Carr's legit, and this is not a soft team. Jack Del Rio has them coached well. And I think Green Bay is just not good enough to be laying wood on the road against a decent, scrappy team. So I'm taking.
And it's
the
also
Raiders.
as of right now, it's a field goal, which could be the
right.
the push.
I think Oakland's going to win this game.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, and then finally, I could go a lot of different ways here with this fourth one. I think what I'm going to do is go. I'm going to say Pittsburgh as a very surprising 6-point favorite against Denver is going to crush them. I think Denver's offense is terrible. I think Pittsburgh's D is going to get after them. I think Pittsburgh's offense is good enough to move the ball against anybody. I'm going to lay the wood with Pittsburgh.
Is everyone healthy at Pittsburgh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It clicked at the right time. I mean, they just got everyone back.
I mean, they don't have
right
Le'Veon
time.
Bell, but I mean, D'Angelo's been.
No, but I
basically
mean,
as good.
they have enough guys. I mean, with Antonio Brown, and I mean, Martavis Bryant. Those guys.
Heath Miller's back. Roethlisberger's healthy. Yeah, they're pretty much full.
And like we've mentioned all season long, with Roethlisberger starting, that offense just goes into this.
It's a great offense. And the D isn't that bad. It's not as bad as it was last year. And I just think Denver's offense on the road is going to get smothered. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to roll.
Cool, man. Well, I threw Baltimore in there as the other pick.
I like them getting 7.5.
I said at Baltimore. I mean, except for I think one game this year, almost every game seems to be decided by less than 6 points.
But remember, it's not really 7.5. It's 1.5 because you got to factor in the Matt Schaub pick 6. Right? So they're really getting 1.5.
Fact, 1.5 points. I'll still take it with the Ravens and the Harbaughs. All right, Chris. And of course, before we go, the worst pun of the week.
I wish I.
Did you have any
I should
prepared?
have thought of one in advance. I didn't know you were going to ask me, man.
Gotta throw you on the spot. There's gotta be a little improv element. All right, no pun this week.
I don't have one. I'm sorry.
We can always fall back.
Next week I'll study for this.
Yeah, I
segment.
was gonna say there should be at least 4
I put in
puns.
so much prep for the segment. I can't believe I should have.
4 puns, 4 picks every week.
I know. All right. Well, next week we'll start that.
I'm just messing around. Make sure to go check out Chris Liss on Twitter at Chris_Liss. He tweets out the podcast, the articles, everything to go on to rotowire.com for more fantasy football news and advice, especially if you need it for the playoffs, which Jason does not because he's out of all the playoffs. Sad face. Well, we'll see you next week. Like, favorite, subscribe, and comment with all your picks that you think are the best for Week 15.